All right, hey, I'm back with another recap and review of Churchy. This episode was called The Praise Team. It pretty much centered on Rodney. His actual name is Mark J.P. Hood. Like, this episode just, like, Rodney was pretty much my favorite character besides Corey, because of course it's about Corey. But just, you got to see his talent this episode. Uh, so here we go. So it opens with Quinn singing. I don't know the name of her character. I don't think they ever gave her the name, but it opens up with the lady singing. It ends up being Quinn. She was on a podcast that I used to watch called Mommy Confessions with Angel, Denora, and Quinn, and also she's a actress. She's on Tyler Perry movies and shows, and she do a lot of stuff. She a actress. So it opens up with her singing, just a good funny scene. I'm not used to seeing her funny side. Well, she's funny, but like I see her in a lot of dramatic stuff and stuff. So just seeing her singing and being goofy, that was a good way to open it. And I noticed that the opening song, Churchy, it switches from episode to episode. So sometimes it's I'm headed to church today because I need him. And this time it was I'm headed to church today because we need him or we're headed to church. I just thought that was different. I don't know if this was the first time they switched it. No, I feel like they flip flop, But anyway, love the opening song. So you see next thing they are in the office, and Mother Jean, Corey's biggest hater, or you could say she the church's biggest fan. It ain't even probably about Corey, but she has her no, not her nephew, her grandson Teddy there, and Pastor Steny tells Corey like, "Hey, actually, we're gonna have Pastor Teddy open," and Corey's like, "I thought I was opening," and Pastor Finney was like, with his resume and stuff, it's only right that we give him a fair chance, just like we gave you. So they decide to just introduce him, and he's gonna go ahead and open for Sunday instead of Corey. So you hear the grandson saying a little shade like, yeah, I've heard of you before. I hear you do that internet stuff. They just do not respect his IG talent. Shoot, that's some good talents they have in this day and age. But he was like, my 7-year-old nephew watches you, so he got some shade for Corey too, just like Mother Jean. So then Rodney comes into the office and introduces him, and he's like, "Hey, I was wondering if you." Pastor Cindy tells Rodney like, "I was wondering if you could do praise and worship. Like I need you to lead the music department because that's the reason you're here." So Rodney is surprised, Corey is surprised, but he's happily surprised. Like, yeah, I would love to do that. So Corey follows Rodney out the office, and Rodney kind of try to ignore him. So he calls him by his whole name. He's like Rodney Demario Joseph, which just was funny. Uh, why didn't you tell me that you got the job? And he's like, I found out at the same time as you, Dad, because calling me by my whole name. So you know, Corey's being child is just like, oh, you're gonna open up and you and Pastor Teddy are best friends. And uh Ronnie's like, you big man, and he just like moves fast and it's like, did you straighten everything out with Keisha? And of course, Corey ain't even worried about Keisha. He's like, oh, I'm gonna get her a present, and she gonna forgive me real easy. So we'll see how that go. Don't seem like lying is something that a prison could fix, but we'll see how that go. So Pastor Stiddy is showing Rodney some choir robes and says he can give him a book of all the songs they've been singing. But he's like, I want to help you however I can, but you have complete control. So, uh, the next scene, Rodney is on the piano singing a song and making fun of Corey. It was actually a little jam. He had some little riffs and runs. He's just like, Corey's big mad. He been lying. I got the job. So Corey's like, man, whatever. So, Rodney with another message. I probably got this job because I've been having a good attitude. You need to be positive because Corey was just on his woe is me, like I'm not getting to preach like I wanted to. My fiance is mad at me, and Rodney like, okay, at least you have a fiance who love you, and at least you have older people who want advice. Because that's what it was. Corey was mad because he's like, all I can do is give advice to older couples. He's like, at least you got somebody. Rodney was like, at least you have somebody to give advice to. You got to be more positive, like flip that perspective. He was like, that's probably why your dad on Amazon looking for a new son. And he was like, I mean, I'm gonna have to play devil's advocate. Keisha really not wrong. Like you can't expect her to not be upset about you not having the things and having the position that you said you would have. Like y'all are wrong now. If you tell her that you're doing something, you should be doing it. So of course, seemed like he take his advice and he's like, yeah, you're right, but how can I help you or whatever. So he's like, actually, burn them choir robes because that was the first thing they needed to go. And he's like, I also need to get like a new praise and worship team. So Corey come up with the idea to like make a video and do something like a competition like The Voice. So he get on live. Geo tags and does all of his social media stuff, which is really a great help. Like people be hating on him, but all that stuff is real good this day and age to get people down to the church and audition. So, uh, so then you move on to Pastor Teddy giving a good word, and Corey can't even hate on him. Like Rodney was like, man, he real good. I'm gonna go up there and back him up on the organ. And Corey was like, man, you gonna make him sound better. But he had to admit, like, yeah, go on up there and play the organ. Um, so Corey is on live. Rodney is next to him, and he's like, "Hey, my beautiful fiance Keisha is on the live, and I have a great gift for her." So he has some red bottoms. He has some diamonds. Rodney doing the ad libs like she got bloody shoes. Diamonds are forever. Just a good funny scene, and everybody in the comments is impressed, but all of a sudden you see Keisha leave the live or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, I guess she wasn't impressed by those diamonds." So Corey calls her and he's like, "I mean, what do you want from me? I got you a gift." And she's like, "I don't care about that gift. You did that gift for you. You never even apologized. Like, you wrong." She had a good point. She's like, "I'm not gonna be like your mother, because a few episodes ago, uh, his mom was saying how he's always probably going to put the church first, just like his father did." And she was like, "I'm not going to be like your mother." And he's like, "What's that supposed to mean?" She's like, "I'm not going to be at home playing with puzzles." So just another sign, trouble in paradise. I don't know what's going to happen with Corey and Keisha. So that's going to be interesting to see. Um, so next you get to them at the auditions. I just love the cameos. You see some all deaf people. You see John Cia, Kanisha Bus. You see Roxy playing the ukulele, and you see Jason. Rest in peace to Jason. That was just such a good cameo to see him up there singing. You see some bad singers and you see some real good singers. There was even a guy that was singing so good that Rodney was honest, like he thinks the voice for real. I don't need that kind of competition, so he didn't pick him. I thought that was just funny and honest. Like, come on now, man, you singing a little too good, okay? So, the lady from the beginning, Quinn, she comes in, and she got an attitude like, what qualified you to be leading the music department? And this when Rodney started popping his stuff. He's like, I mean, I got radio hits, I have a Grammy, so pretty much, and she couldn't rebut that. So he introduces the praise team, like the people that he picked. There was a lady, the one that I said could sing real good. She had blonde hair, a tan shirt, and a jacket. Her name is Jamal. Like you could tell she was triggered because he's introducing people. He's like, "This is Jamal." And she's like, "Yes, a woman named Jamal. I was named after my father. I don't do nicknames." So that was just a good little funny part. It reminded me like my daughter's name is Ava, but I said that before I was even pregnant, I was like, if I ever have a daughter, I'm gonna name her Penelope Ann, and you can't use nicknames. You have to say Penelope Ann. Don't call my house asking for Penelope. Don't call my house looking for Ann. So that just reminded me of that. Um, so yeah, anyway, he says that he's going to give the lead role to another member of the choir. I think her name was Allison, and that was the final straw because the lead singer was like, "You just trying to change too much. First you saying no choir robes, now you saying that you gonna have somebody else leading. It's just too much change. Like I'm leaving, and he's like, oh, we gonna miss you so much, but he wasn't finna chase her. He like, okay. Um, so then you move on to, I guess this would be Sunday service because, the praise team is up there. They look good. They sound good. Everybody's wearing something different, but, that's how praise team is these days. Like, it ain't about wearing the same thing. Just, it's a new day. So they look good. They sound good. Like I said, I wish they would make like a churchy playlist because all the music is great. Um, so, uh, Mother Jean comes and introduces her grandson. Of course, she have a little shade for Corey. Like last week, you had somebody who wasn't seasoned, but we got somebody seasoned here, and the pastor comes to the podium and he has a message about not following your dreams, but making sure you're walking in your purpose, and it's a difference. Just a very good message. And Rodney, of course, messing with Corey, like, you ain't going to hear it, but he good. And he's like, man, Corey, like, you know what? As he listened more, Corey like, I think I've heard this before. And Ronnie like, don't be that guy. Come on now. He's like, no, for real, I think I heard it. So he kind of researching and he's like, that's it. Pastor YPJ. I heard this from Pastor YPJ. So of course Rodney is like, oh no, you can't let them take your job. He gonna have his boy back. Like, you need to go get your job. If he copy it, nah, don't let them just take your job. So you get to the office and uh, Corey calls him out. He's like, you took somebody's message. And Mother Jean's like, what? And Pastor Teddy just played it off. He was so nonchalant. He was like, and what? Uh, as long as people are watching and giving money to the church, it doesn't matter. So Mother Jean kicked the grandson out. And, the grandson like, oh, kind of surprised. And, Corey pleasantly surprised. But, Mother Jean, like, I can't believe he embarrassed me like this. But you see how I kicked out my own grandson? I did it because I do what's best for the church. Like, so I wonder, she pretty much like, I wonder if Corey gonna do what's best for the church at the end of the day. So yeah, that was it. Great episode as usual. And always, you gotta stay past those credits. You see a skit with I think it's Sister Red Jacket or Pastor Red Jacket. Just hilarious scene. I literally laughed out loud saying she was praying too hard for people. And I think they had a clip of that on the Kev on Stage uh, studio YouTube page. But you gotta stay and watch the whole thing. And then you also have a scene with like the whole breakdown and one of the people who was auditioning for the praise team. She did a whole breakdown of Joyful Joyful, which was hilarious too. So you made it this far. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe. Did you really like this episode? Um, Drop the church emoji in there if you made it this far. Thank you for watching, and I hope y'all had a good Thanksgiving and have a good day. Have a good rest of your week, because shoot, it's Sunday. All right, thank you. Bye.